Where the biological story harms, and why MPIT rejects it as a total account. There's a persistent myth doing the rounds in both pop psychology fields and the more credulous corners of academia that narcissistic personality disorder is primarily a biological state rooted in immutable genetic wiring or a permanently damaged brain. It's a neat story, tidy enough to fit into a brain scan infographic. But neat doesn't mean accurate. And in the survivor context, it's actively harmful. Let's start with the research most often waved around as proof. Schultz et al. 2013 found grey matter differences in the anterior insula of 17 people with MPD when compared to 17 healthy controls. That's it, 34 brains in total, drawn from a general population where similar volumetric patterns are already found. These correlates aren't unique to narcissists. They appear in non-clinical samples too. That's not a narcissist brain. That's statistical overlap. The same problem dogs heritability claims. Fang et al. And others report that narcissistic traits fall into a heritability range of roughly 37 to 77%. Impressive sounding numbers, right? But it's still correlational. This is personality, not eye colour. And the traits measured are often diffuse, drawn from self report and non clinical populations. Making the leap from genetic contribution to hardwired disorder is a category error. Even Melanie Klein's paranoid schizoid position reminds us that splitting, projection, and primitive defense patterns are universal. Every one of us can and does drop into paranoid schizoid states under relational threat. Survivors, especially after discard. The narcissist's stuckness in this position is not proof of a genetic defect, it's a developmental fixation. Abuse isn't always capital A abuse. It could be hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of micro misattunements in infancy. In the mind of a highly sensitive infant, one still capable of symbolizing their own terror, these micro events can be as formative as the big traumas. Genes may influence thresholds, but thresholds aren't destiny. Here's the MPIT counterpoint. If narcissism were simply a fixed biological injury, how do survivors end up with their brain patterns? Do we swap grey matter in the night? Were there clandestine neural transplants during the relationship? No, we acquire those patterns the way all humans do, through sustained relational exposure, mirrored regulation, and structural introjection. We adapt to their world until our neural and affective maps look disturbingly similar. This is not biology alone, that's environment, repetition, and the looping of libidinal and anti libidinal pools until the survivor's internal architecture is rewritten. So, why does this matter? Because believing in a purely biological narcissism keeps survivors looking for a cure in the wrong place, or worse, absolves the abuser entirely. They were born that way, nothing could be done. M. Pitt rejects this fatalism. Biology may provide the soil, but the plant grows in relational weather, mapping the rules and energetic engines that drive the abuse. The cathexis, the hypocathexis, the RMPI vortex changes outcomes for survivors. It gives them authorship back because what was installed can be uninstalled. You can't cut out a personality with a scalpel, but you can decathect a bond. So, yes, the biology story is seductive, but in the healing space, it's in the wrong war entirely. The fight isn't in the anterior insula, it's in the hall of mirrors, the psychic mergers, and the internalized bad object. We didn't get here via transplant, and we don't get out via microscope. Peace out. Loads of love.